So I told you in part one that maybe you just watched. My first skill was shooting, just standing in the corner on the wing and shooting threes. I didn't dribble, play defense, pass, rebound. I didn't do nothing but just shoot jump shots. And that was until like age 16. So around age 16, I started working on my vertical, started doing plyometrics, and I finally was able to dunk. My athleticism, I started to fill into my body. My athleticism started to work for me. So now I could play above the rim. Problem was I couldn't really dribble quite yet. And this is around age 16, 17, headed towards my senior year of high school. So this is like the summer before my senior year of high school. I could finally jump. I could play above the rim. I could dunk pretty much with ease. I was running a whole lot faster. I was just a very explosive athlete, but I wasn't really that explosive as a basketball player because I couldn't really translate that athleticism into basketball production yet. And that's when I started working on my handle. And that's when I started just practicing dribbling every day. I had my athleticism down. I knew I could still make the outside shot if I was open. But one of the older players in my neighborhood, one of the players who was really good, this dude named Bob, he said to me once, "Yo, Dre, like, you need to work on, like, you could get this, you got the shooting thing down, and maybe you got some athleticism, but yo, you got to work on your off the dribble game, because if you catch the ball at the 3-point line and somebody runs up on you so you can't shoot a jumper, and you athletic, but you can't dribble, you don't have any moves, you can't break down the defender off the bounce, then it doesn't even matter." So I had to fill in that gap between the 3-point line and the rim. I could dunk and I can shoot, but how I'm gonna get from one point to the other, and if I get a rebound or a steal, how I'm gonna dribble the ball, I had to fill in that gap. So that's when I started working on my moves and my handle and all of that other stuff. And again, this is around senior year of high school. So around this time between then and my freshman year of college, that's when I came up with the drills that I call simple daily dribbling drills. And that's a video, if you look that up on YouTube here, it's got over 1 million views. The full version of it, like 12-minute version, the short version, the 1-minute version, has like, I don't even know, 800,000, something like that, 900,000 views. And I put that out. That was like 2009. The full version I put out a few years later, maybe 2011, 2012, something like that. But that's really how I came up with my handle, just doing basic drills, basic stuff every single day. You put the basics together, it becomes the complemented or the fancy or the highlights, whatever you want to call it. So this part here is part two, how I went from being a shooter to a non-shooter. So when I got to college, my freshman year, I would shoot threes and pull up J's and stuff like that. Even my sophomore year, I shot jump shots. But then going into from my sophomore year through my senior year, I was just so much more athletic than everybody I was playing against. And I went to college at Penn State Abington my freshman year, which at the time was only 2 years athletically, 4 years academically, but only 2 years sports. Now it's D3 and it's 4 years sports. Back then was only 2. Then I went to Penn State Altoona for my last 3 years, which was and is a Division III school. And the players there just didn't have my athletic ability. Even in the conference that we played in, the teams we played against, nobody was as athletic as me. So that was my main thing. So if I was shooting jump shots, the coach might be like, I had different coaches, but one coach might be like, "Yo, why are you shooting jump shots? Drop to the hole. Use your athleticism, use your speed, use your quickness, use your explosiveness. Don't bail them out by shooting a jump shot." Coaches would say that to me all the time. Don't bail out the defense by shooting a jump shot when you're more athletic than them. So I just started driving to the basket even more and just using my athleticism as my main skill. So much that people started like playing off me, like not like Ben Simmons, like, but similar to that, like, "Yo, let him shoot a jump shot. If we let him get any kind of shot, let him shoot a jumper, because that's way better than him going to the hole. Because if he goes to the hole, again, they're talking about me, there's nothing we can do because he's too athletic. But if he shoots a jump shot, he might miss, and we can do something about that. We can get the rebound." So I just neglected outside shooting for like the last 2 years of my collegiate experience. I didn't even care about shooting jump shots. I would shoot every now and then, and I could make them, but I was just so focused on my athleticism and utilizing that skill and exploiting it, because I was so much more athletic than most of the people I played against, that I didn't need to shoot a jump shot. I just was driving to the hole and just grabbing rebounds, going coast to coast, dunking on people. That was my thing. That was my calling card. And I knew also that would be the thing if I was going to play overseas. That was going to be the thing that really got me in the door, was my athleticism. I knew I had that to play overseas. I had pro level athleticism. There are other skills that I had other skills. I always felt like I was an all around player, but the one skill that would separate me from 200 other dudes in the gym was my athletic ability. And if you ever seen my scouting report from the first exposure camp I went to, I got third-party proof that that's actually true. That's not just me, talking myself up here on my YouTube channel. But anyway, so after my senior year, I go to my first exposure camp, like I just mentioned. I had several dunks at that exposure camp, and then my scouting report was just talked about this dude is super athletic. I was the most athletic dude at that camp. And that got me into playing overseas. And I started my career playing in Lithuania, played in several places after that. And then when I was I'll tell you this in part 3, the next video I'm gonna put out tomorrow. I'll tell you what happened in one of the places that I played that led me to kind of going back to the future kind of and revisiting that jump shot. And it was kind of by necessity. It wasn't because I was just like, oh, let me just shoot jump shots again just out of the blue. There was something that forced me to have to start working on my jump shot again that I didn't want to have to force me, but it did. I'll tell you about that in the next one. And this is all going around, as I said, my new book is called Work on Your Game, Using a Pro Athlete Mindset to Dominate in Business, Sports, and Life. It's coming out February 22nd. This is my 22nd book also at the same time. And this book is all about my philosophy of work on your game, the discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative that I took from not playing basketball on any teams to going pro in basketball and taking that, turning it into a business. And what I run now is my whole company, Work on Your Game Incorporated, Dre All Day, all the stuff that I do, whether you only know me from YouTube videos or you know me from a bunch of other stuff, things that I do that you may or may not know about. All of that is encompassed in my philosophy called Work on Your Game. That's all covered in my book. Again, it's coming out February 22nd. At the link down there, you can see all the details about the book and the free exclusive pre-order bonuses I'm giving to anyone who orders the book before the day that it comes out. See the link down there to tell you all the details. Work on your game.